Hello and welcome to today's video. This is going to be my final video of the year, which is very exciting, and as you can tell by the title, this is going to be my last book haul of 2023, and I'm really excited about it. But I do have a lot of books to talk about. I haven't done a book haul since we went to 66 books, which was end of October, start of November time. I will have that linked up above if you want to see that video and that haul. But these are all of the books that I've accumulated since then. There are 50 exactly. So yeah, there's that. I do have one that's not arrived yet, and I do have some pre-orders. I haul my pre-orders when I order them rather than when they arrive, in terms of when I count the numbers. So those pre-orders are counted within that 50. That's just how mathematically I can get it to work and get it to feel right on my spreadsheet for how much I've spent on books and that sort of thing. So yeah, there are 50 books. We need to talk about them. I've got a pile of books that I've already read. I've got the pre-orders to talk about. I've got books that I ordered just as and when fancied previous to December time, just ordered as and when. And then I have two big piles of books that I've ordered since December, since Christmas, that I have wanted and have been eyeing up. One of the piles is books I've got new, that was just the best price honestly, and one of the piles is books that I've got second hand, and yeah, I'm really happy with all of them. I am probably not going to tell you too much about the books. I'll probably tell you a little bit more about the books that I've read because I'll know more about them. But overall, we're just going to go through. This is going to be kind of like a rapid fire book haul, and yeah, if there's anything that sticks out, I'll mention it. But overall, we're just talking about books, so let's just get into it. So first up we have Shady Hollow. This is a book that I read. This is actually our book club book for October, November, I believe. So no, this is our book club book for December. We just read it. We read it and got the video up early. So this was our book club book for December. I'll link the video up above. But yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. It was a really lovely time, and as you might see in a little bit, I'll definitely want to continue on with the series. Easy Way, Gilmore Girls meets Zootopia with more murder mysteries. So maybe Gilmore Girls meets the Thursday Murder Club meets Zootopia, because they're all animals, so yeah. Another book club book that I ended up reading was Strong Female Character. This was our October-November book club pick. Again, I can link that video up above. It's really good. This is 5-star. One of the few 5-star non-fiction books that I've given this year. I thought it was great. There's a couple of things that I was a bit oh, maybe not, but this is a memoir, this is one person's story, and it did absolutely everything that it set out to on the back. This mainly talks about autism, I would say, but it's just how being autistic and also not being diagnosed with autism until later in life has just affected Fern Brady's everyday life, affected her childhood, affected how she saw things growing up. And yeah, I thought it was really good, so would highly recommend. Then the biggie. Oh my gosh, this is, I mean, I'm spoiling a video for January, but this is my favourite series of the year, and I read them all on Kindle, so I needed to get my own copies so I can read them and annotate them. This is the Lady of Darkness series. Book 1 is Lady of Darkness, book 2 is Lady of Shadows, book 3 is Lady of Ashes, book 4 is Lady of Embers, then we have a mini little novella called The Reaper, and then book 5 is Lady of Starfire. And this was just absolutely bloody amazing. Honestly, I can't recommend it enough. I would say check triggers, but there are trigger warnings available. And yeah, it's fantasy romance, but there's so much plot, and there is romance consistently going on, but it's not too much for me where it gets to the point where it's annoying or takes away from being able to do the plot. We've still got so much plot, we've still got so much to figure out, we've got so many interesting characters to explore and see. Book 1 we mainly have one point of view. We do have the occasional other point of view put in, but the more books we get through, the more point of views we have added, and the more characters you just come to fall in love with, and it's absolutely amazing. I would highly recommend. Then another one that I read was Glint. I got this because I had read Guild and I was I like this, but I don't really understand what this story is leading to. So I picked up the second book, and I definitely am way more sucked into this. It ended on a cliffhanger that I'm really intrigued about. This is book 2 in the Bladed Prisoner series, and I definitely want to continue on. So yeah, it piqued my interest a lot. I thought it was a very interesting story, and honestly it was just a very bingeable story. I don't know how quickly I read this, but it feels like I picked it up, and since I started it, every opportunity I had to pick it up I did, because I was just so sucked in. So yeah. And then the last book that I've already read is Iron Flame, which I did like. I really like this, and I feel like if this was marketed as YA, it would be absolutely amazing. But obviously it can't be marketed as YA, it's marketed as new adult, and that is because of like the sex and the violence in it. So I do get that, but it feels like maybe those should have been toned down and marketed as YA, because the plot itself isn't anything special. But honestly, I'm a sucker for dragon books, like I have been for years and years now, and the fact that there's a super popular dragon series at the moment, it's just nice. Like I'm obsessed with dragons. I feel like I've been obsessed with dragons since the first time I read Throne of Glass in like 2016 or something, so yeah. Okay, let's talk about pre-orders next. I haven't placed too many pre-orders this year, but I have placed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 6 pre-orders altogether. First pre-order I placed is Mislaid in Parts Half Known. This is the 9th book in the Wayward Children series. This is a series that I've absolutely fell in love with. We basically follow people who are either going to like these alternative worlds or have come back from their perfect alternative world and need to figure out how to get back to everyday life. Half the books are set at Eleanor West's home for wayward children, and it's just a really lovely story. I would, yeah, once again, one that I'd highly recommend, so it's not surprising that I'm ordering book 9 in the series. And yeah, honestly, it was just a really great time for every single book that I've read so far, and I feel like any books that are heavier than the rest, the author does a very good job at putting an author's note at the front and kind of preparing you for what to expect. But at least the first handful of books are just a really lovely time that talk about really interesting things, and yeah, I have no complaints about the series at all, so I pre-ordered book 9. Then the second one I pre-ordered actually arrived early. This isn't meant to come out till like the 16th of January, and it arrived before Christmas, so I don't know what's going on with this book, but I have seen loads of other people receive it as well. And this is Emily Wilde Map of the Otherlands. This is book 2 in the Emily Wilde series, book 1 being Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I enjoyed book 1. I had a few gripes with it, but overall I gave it 4 stars, and I thought it was really solid in terms of how it set up our characters. It was mainly the plot that by the end I was a bit grumbly about, I guess is the best way to put it. But I'm really excited to see where this one takes us. From what I know, it's a completely new adventure. We're still following the same characters, but we're doing a completely new adventure, doing like a completely new study expedition that we're going on, and I'm really excited for it, so I'm really glad that I ordered it. Then another pre-order I placed, which I do think has been pushed back though, because it was meant to come out in April, but it's now saying September, is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. This is the same author as A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Yes, that's what it's called, A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. They are a bit of mouthful titles, but they're very cute, lovely books. Well, the first book that I've read by the author was, and I really enjoyed that. It was a very cozy, lovely time. This is, honestly, I don't mind that it's coming out in September, because I feel like I probably would have ended up reading it in September anyway, because it's kind of like, it's not exactly what you want to be reading in October, or at least not what I want to be reading in October. I want the more like spooky, scary, fantasy, high books. But September, like the run up to like the true festive season of Halloween, and you kind of wanting to start getting used to it, it's a really cozy take on like witches and all that. So yeah, really excited to see what this one brings. It does look like it's a standalone, not related to the other book the author's wrote at all, but just from the vibes alone, I feel like we're gonna have a good time. Then I also ordered Reckless. This is the sequel to Powerless, which is a book that I thought was good, and it was a book that I thought for a debut was good. I feel like I really want to read Reckless. I mean, perfectly honest, there's an option with sprayed edges if you were pre-ordering, so I did it. I do feel like Reckless to me will be the decider as to whether I continue on, because book 1 I would say read as heavily inspired by the Hunger Games, which is fine, except for the one kind of gripe I had is there were sections that I feel like if you read them out you wouldn't know which book it came from. It was just a little bit too on the nose for me with the inspiration, so I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. It was a debut book, and I really enjoyed it. That's the thing, like even though there were annoying things, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I ate it up. Like, I've read it so quick. So I have pre-ordered the sequel, which is Reckless, and based on how I feel reading that one will depend on whether I continue on with the series or not. But I have relatively good feelings about it. There was quite a big cliffhanger at the end of the first book, and quite a few things that I'm really excited to find out. And at my copy of the first book, there was a bit at the end that was basically like a sneak preview of a chapter in book 2, and that chapter drew me in, so yeah, might as well give it a go. Then, okay, so this is a bit of a weird one. I pre-ordered the paperback of Serpent and the Wings of Night. I've already read it, but I read it on Kindle and I really liked it. And basically, I've decided to purchase it. Yeah, it's that basic really. I've decided to purchase it. It was really, really good. It might make my top 10 books of the year. That's one of the things I need to sort out over the next few days, is what is actually in my top 10. It could make it. It was really good. I really enjoyed it, so I want my own copy of it. Again, mainly the same as like the series I already spoke about, Lady of Darkness. Like, I do feel like I will read it again. I do feel like I will annotate it, and I had such a good time with it, so I really want my own copy. And then last but not least, the final pre-order I placed was for the paperback of Gold, which is the most recent release of the Plated Prisoner series, the series that I've already spoken about when I read book 2. And I believe that Gold is book 5, so before that comes out I want to catch up on books 3 and 4. But I've pretty much committed to this series now. Like, it's so bingeable, it's so like read a book in a day type of thing, and the story's so good. So I thought I'd pre-order it and make sure I had it as soon as it came out in paperback. So yeah, I do believe when it comes out in paperback, book 6 of the series will already be out, which is the final book of the series, but only in hardback, so I'll have to wait until that comes out in paperback too, which will be annoying. But yeah, so that's my final pre-order I needed to talk about. Okay, let's just talk about books that I've randomly ordered over the last couple of months that were just at any random time, weren't anything to do with the fact that like I had loads of extra money after Christmas. So, Kingdom of the Feared. This is the final book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I basically just want to finish out the series. I really enjoyed the first 2 books. I feel kind of complete with it now, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do want to finish it off and find out like what happens, and I feel like that is for like the completionist part of my brain. I want to do that, but overall I'm pretty chill about it. I will definitely get to this year. It is on my 24 in 2024 list, but yeah, I mean, I'm excited by it. It's one of those series that when I pick it up I really, really enjoy it, but when I'm not physically reading it I don't really think much about it. So yeah, I am more excited than I'm probably coming across to finish and read that, but yeah. Then I also got the latest release in the Gracing Realm series, which is Sea Sparrow. This is the paperback that eventually came out. I was going to read this in December, but we actually decided to pick Gracing book 1 in the Gracing Realm series for our book club pick for January, February, March. So I've actually decided I'm going to do a complete reread of the whole series, and when I get to this one I will then read it. I absolutely adore the series. I've already read books 1, 2, 3 and 4 and love them. Book 4 especially was just like so amazing that I can't wait to read Gracing with a load of other people as well and get to talk about it and discuss it, and then continue on the series and eventually get to book 5, which currently speaking is the last book out. But it is one of those series that the authors kind of said like when they get inspiration for a character or want to do another character's story they will add to it, but there's no like definite additions to the series, but it's like kind of like an open-ended, each book concludes but also has things that we can follow on from. Then I've got 2 poetry collections. This is Sincerely and Euphoria by F.S. Youssef. I read a poetry collection well over a year ago now, maybe 2 years ago, by this author called Serenity, I think it was called, and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to pick up a few of their other works. And honestly I found these on Vinted for I think like £2 or £3, so I just picked them up and I want to get around to giving more poetry a go. So reading from an author I've already read from and enjoyed seems like a good bet. Then my special edition of Bookshops and Bone Dust eventually came in. I haven't read this one yet, but I really need to prioritise reading it. This is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, and this is just an absolutely stunning edition. This is the broken binding edition. I know that some people really love the UK covers, but for me personally this like original, well this one's not the original cover, this is now just like the American design of the cover, but having the original cover for book 1 was just so much better for me personally than the UK cover that I did splurge and get a special edition. And I decided to do that for this prequel book as well. Oh, I decided to splurge and got a special edition. The broken binding are very reasonably priced. They are around £4 to £8 more expensive per book than a regular hardback. So for me that is quite a big splurge because I don't generally buy hardbacks. I do generally prefer paperbacks, but it wasn't obscene. I then also picked up Kusama, the graphic novel. This is an artist that I am really intrigued by. Would really like to go and be able to like physically see some of their work, and I just think it's so amazing. I actually I spoke about this book in my Buzzword Reading Challenge TBR video, which again I can link up above, but I put a collection of some of the artist's work, so I'll put that exact same green screen over me right now. And yeah, this is some sort of like story about the author's life, which I'm very excited to read about and hopefully learn more about the artist than I already do. Then I've picked up my first 404 Inklings book. This is BFFs, The Radical Potential of Female Friendship. This 404 Inklings is like a publication of books, like it's a series of books, and they are very niche, very specific non-fiction books, like about something really interesting. And honestly I would say I'm genuinely interested in about 80% of what they've released, but I don't own any of them, I haven't read any of them yet, but I am particularly interested by this one, so I picked it up when I saw it for cheap. So yeah, that's that one. Then I believe all of these next 6 books I got from the same vintage seller. I was looking for a specific book. I'll pull that one out of the pile. I was looking for Nimona. I decided I really want to read it and then be able to watch the adaptation. This is a fantasy graphic novel with some really stunning artwork, so I'm very excited by it and I really want to give it a read. I was looking for it, I found it on Vinted for relatively cheap, like a lot cheaper than what I'd be paying brand new, so snagged it up. But along with that, I also always check out what the seller is selling, and I picked up 5 more. So I also picked up the graphic novel Wind. I had heard of this before but never really looked into it, and because I got it so cheap on there I looked into it, and it's such lovely artwork. Like I think it's going to be so fun to read. And yeah, this is another fantasy graphic novel, and this one is about a world where magical heritage is punishable by death, and I believe that our main character has magic and we are following along their journey, so really excited. I also picked up Hex. This is a very tiny little book about witches and set in 1591. It's set in Edinburgh. I'm really hoping to go to Edinburgh in 2024, and I don't know how much reading time I'd have. Like, we want to go and really explore the city and the surroundings, so I thought a tiny little book set in Edinburgh to take with me when we go to Edinburgh would be lovely, so I snagged it up when I saw it. I also picked up January 15th. This was a book that I was really interested by when it was being released and then forgot about, but when I saw it I was like, oh, that's the one that I'm really interested by. It's by Tor, so honestly I just have a lot of faith in Tor. They do the Wayward Children series, they do the Murderbot series, they do the Binti series, so yeah, really have a lot of faith in them. I don't think I've read a book by them that I haven't liked, so yeah, very intrigued. This is like sci-fi dystopian, I believe. It's not clear on the back if it's going to be, oh no, it does say near future sci-fi, so yeah, sounds cool, sounds interesting, want to give it a go. Same sort of thing, also by Tor. This is Elder Race, one that I'm just interested in. It sounds cool. I really don't have much to say about it, but this one is a fantasy by Tor. I don't think I've read a full-on fantasy by Tor. Like, Wayward Children is magical realism, and the other stuff that I've read by Tor are sci-fi, so I've picked up a fantasy and I'm really excited by it. It sounds really interesting. I'll just shove it here. If you want to pause, you can pause and read, but yeah, it's just one that I'm really interested by. Then I also picked up from that same seller, this is the final book from that seller, Bryony and Roses. This is by T. Kingfisher. Basically, I read one T. Kingfisher and I wasn't too impressed, but I feel like I might have started with the wrong one. So when I saw another T. Kingfisher for so cheap, I thought, let's snag it, let's give it a go, let's give it a read, and give the author a second chance, basically, because I really wasn't a massive fan of the first book that I read by them. If this one doesn't work for me, I won't probably try any more of their fantasy, but I will probably still try some of their more horror stuff. So yeah, that's why I picked up that one. Then one day I was shopping, I was doing some Christmas decor shopping. I think I've got this in a video, I'll link it up here if I did. And I found for £2 in the charity shop this absolutely stunning gold gilded edges edition of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, so I picked it up. I do have quite the collection of classics going, and I do need to start actually reading them if I'm going to continue to collect them, but this was just such a lovely edition. Like, even like the formatting and the inside of like how nicely spaced everything is, and like the chapter headers and the page numbering. So yeah, I wanted to pick this up and I thought it was such a stunning edition. It's in the vein, random day, I was out, we went past a free little library, I went in and I found this one. This is So Late in the Day by Claire Keegan, and I don't know much about it, but it sounds like a little slice of life thing. I don't really tend to enjoy slice of life things when they're in full novel form, but this one is only, well, 47 pages, so it's not even 50 pages, and I feel like this could be a way for me to enjoy slice of life, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a go. And then last but not least, the final book that I just got randomly, which oh no, wait, okay, I didn't get this randomly. I didn't, I was going to, but then Jay said, no, don't. So this is the only book that I got for Christmas, I believe, and this was from my boyfriend, and this was Heartstopper Volume 5, which I'm so excited about. I absolutely love the Heartstopper series. I even love the TV series, like even the TV show is a great adaptation. And yeah, Volume 5 is eventually out, and I can't wait to read it. It's the penultimate volume, and I don't know where we're going to go, but I'm very excited to get to it. Okay, so then we just have 2 more piles left, and these are all the books that I've got since Christmas, basically. I will talk about the new books first, and then we'll go to the ones that I've managed to find used. All of these I got for super cheap, all of these I got for way lower than RRP, even the ones that I got new, which is why I've managed to buy so many, because there were such amazing deals on post-Christmas, like Boxing Day sales things. So yeah, I got a lot. I'm also well aware, I feel like I need to put this out, this is too many books, like I'm well aware of that. Basically in 2024 I'm doing quite a big like a book buying ban. It's not a full ban, I'm using the Broke Bitches book buying bingo board, and I can't buy a book unless I've got a bingo. I suspect it will take me around 2 to 3 months to fill up each bingo board, and you can buy 12 books per bingo board, so I really won't be buying that many books in the new year. So yeah, I kind of went a bit crazy when the sale were on during this year, because it doesn't really matter now, does it? It's the end of the year, but bad way of thinking about it, but feel like I need to say it. So I picked up Cold Clay. This is the 2nd book in the Shady Hollow series, and yeah, I really enjoyed book 1, as I said earlier, and I want to continue on, so I picked up book 2. I also picked up Dinosaur Friendship. This is the 3rd little collection in this dinosaur series. There's already Dinosaur Philosophy and Dinosaur Therapy out. I've read them both when they came out. I basically well, normally I get this in the 50% off hardback sale at Waterstones, but they didn't properly do that this year, so it ended up being half price on Amazon, so I picked it up there. So yeah, really lovely little basically like comic strips of these dinosaurs just experiencing everyday life. So for instance, this dinosaur here is going to Making Friends 101. Hi, my name is Stephen. Shut up, Stephen. I'm here to learn. It's funny. It's my sort of humour. Yeah, I really like it. Then I picked up Garlic and the Vampire. This is a really lovely little graphic novel that I've seen going around. It's actually a series. There's other, I think there's like Garlic and the Witch and Garlic and something else. But yeah, it looks absolutely stunning, and honestly, since receiving this and seeing the artwork inside, I am just so excited to pick it up. I really don't know much about it. I think the Garlic has to go on like a little journey to find the vampire, and they decide the Garlic's the best option to go. I'm assuming that will be because like the whole like vampires are allergic to garlic thing, but I really don't know, but it just looks so lovely and cute, and I can't wait to give it a read. Then I picked up Defect. This is the 2nd book in the Littenverse series. The 1st book in the series is Fina. I really enjoyed Fina. It is, I think, the best sci-fi that I read in 2023. It was a very funny, humorous sci-fi, and I just had such a great time with it that I really need to pick up book 2. I do believe we follow completely different characters in book 2, and it's completely different time and place, but I'm still very excited for it. I also eventually picked up Foul Heart Huntsman. Unfortunately, this book arrived extremely damaged, but they refunded it and it's now back up to RRP, and I paid like less than half of RRP, so I'm just going to go with it even though it's a bit damaged. which is unfortunate, but oh well. But yeah, this is the final book in Chloe Gong Shanghai series, so not really much I can say. You read These Violent Delights duology, and then the Foul Lady Fortune duology, but before the final book in the Foul Lady Fortune duology, which is this one here, there's also a little like short story collection where we get 2 short stories that kind of bridge the gap between the These Violent Delights and the Foul Lady Fortune. And then we have this one, and I haven't brought it yet because honestly I missed out on the special editions, and then I wasn't in a rush to get to it because I don't want the series to end. It's such a good series, I really enjoy it. I feel like if there were more books coming out in these series, I would have already read this and ate it up basically as soon as it came out, but it's the last one, so I feel like I need to find the perfect time to read it to fully take it in and enjoy it as much as possible. Then I picked up Lights. This is the 3rd and final book in the Sheets series, again a stunning graphic novel. Like you can see from the artwork, it's just absolutely stunning, and I can't wait to read it and finish off this series. We basically follow a different person's backstory in every book, and in this book I believe we get Wendell's backstory, so I'm very excited about it. Then honestly I picked this up because I've been hearing a lot of good things about it online. I think I've just seen it come up a few times in bookish videos. This is The Skull. It's actually a children's book, but apparently it's like absolutely amazing, and I mean the artwork alone looks stunning, so I picked it up. I wasn't looking for it, but when I was placing my book order, this came up reduced to, I think it was like £3 something. It's meant to be $14.99, so I snapped it up whilst it was like £3 something for a hardback, because I was like, well, if I saw it in a charity shop for that price I'd pick it up, so why wouldn't I pick it up new for that price? Yeah, my book buying after Christmas hasn't been great. I've been in a very different mindset to what I'm in the rest of the year, so we're just going to kind of ignore the amount there are in this section. Last book I got new is An Immense World. This is our book club selection for April, May, June, I believe this is our book club selection for, so I wanted to pick it up and make sure I had it for when I need it. Okay, and then we just have our pile of books that I managed to find used. First of all, there is one that hasn't arrived yet. That is Gleam. Gleam is the 3rd book in the Plated Prisoner series. I'll show the picture in here. Yeah, it was meant to arrive by now, but I checked the tracking this morning, so I wanted to get this video filmed and edited and uploaded today, and it's still not even got to the local depot. It's now saying estimated on the 2nd of January, so it's not arriving in time for me to get this video up this year. So yeah, we're just, yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's the 3rd book. I'll probably read it almost as soon as it gets here. It's a very bingeable series and I can't wait, so yeah, that one still needs to arrive, but the rest of them have all arrived. So we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This is a romance book I think I could actually enjoy. Expect a romance type vlog to be coming in February. I've been picking up the romance books I actually think I would like. For that exact same reason, I've also picked up from Lukov with Love. There was a TV series on Netflix that got cancelled after 1 season. I think it was called like Spinning Out or something like that. The main character was the same actress who played Effie in Skins. But either way, it was a really good series, and when that got cancelled, I randomly saw somewhere someone saying, if you enjoyed this series, pick up this book. So I picked up that book. I also picked up Everyone's an Alien When You're an Alien too. This is a very lovely graphic novel type book. I don't know if it's actually a graphic novel, if it's more comic strip style, like Dinosaur Friendship, but either way, it's these very lovely little drawings of these aliens discovering humans and human life. I also picked up The Sleeping Prince. It's the only one that's come in a condition that I'm a bit annoyed at. It was meant to be very good, and to be honest, it looks quite battered and used. But it's a very old YA fantasy series, so I'm just going to accept it and go with it. But yeah, this is the 2nd book in the Sin Eater's Daughter series. I read book 1. I found book 3 in a charity shop for like £1, so I just needed book 2 to complete this series, so I decided to grab it, and then hopefully that can be another series that I can complete in 2024. I also got the 3rd and final book in the Binti series. This is Binti The Night Masquerade. I really enjoyed book 1. Book 2 was good. It felt like a lot of setup for book 3, but it did make me very excited to pick up book 3, so I do eventually own it, and I can pick it up when I feel like it and fancy it. I also picked up Princess Ever After. This is actually the only book that I have like purchased for a prompt. There is the buzzword reading challenge 2024, and I didn't have one for repeating words, and I found this one. This is the same author as the Tea Dragon Society books, which is such a lovely graphic novel series that I will continue to read throughout my life over and over again. So when I saw that they got another graphic novel out that fit one of the prompts that I didn't have any books for, I snapped it up. So yeah, that's why I own this one specifically. But the fact that I love the Tea Dragon Society so much makes me feel like I'm gonna love this one too. Okay, down to our final three. We have Fauna. This is a climate fiction sci-fi book about humans who are changing based on the climate crisis. So very interested, think it looks very cool, think it sounds very interesting. We have Nasty Women. This is one by 404 Inc, but it's not one of the 404 Inc things. And yeah, this is a collection of essays and accounts on what it is like to be a woman in the 21st century. And then last but not least, another 404 Inkling book that I'm really excited to read is The Appendix, Transmasculine Joy in a Transphobic Culture. I've heard a lot of really good things about this and a lot of really good things about all the information that's in there, so I can't wait to read it. And that was all of the books that I've purchased in the last couple of months. The cats are about to start fighting, so I'm going to wrap this up here. I do hope that you really liked the video. Please do give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you'd like to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye!